Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Generations of the Grid. We're your hosts. I'm Wes,
I'm Candace.
And I'm Damien.
and today's topic is the Power Ranger moment that made you a fan. Like, I'm pretty sure we all kind of remember a lot of these pivotal moments, but what was the moment that made you like, yeah, this is the one? And I still got to think, so I'll let Candy go first.
Okay. Well, because, you know, as the first generation of the group of fans here, I mean, technically I was always hooked from, like, the first episode. Like, when they first morph and you see the powers and all that, and then all the boom, boom, slashy, slashy, sparks, sparks, giant robots, like, all that. But I think the real moment where I'm like, yo, this is definitely like my jam. I mean, like after first episode, I did follow like the series because I'm like, oh, out of curiosity to see where it's going, and everyone's watching Power Rangers. This is like 1993, and it was like the coolest thing that just came out on TV as a kid. But
Hmm.
like, I think the most pivotal, like real fan ranger moment for me was in Mighty Morphin, when Evil Green Ranger breaks into their Megazord he breaks into their Megazord, punches sees the first Ranger he sees is punches at Trini the Yellow Ranger and literally starts throwing them out of their own Megazord. Like it was just like, this is cool. This is like, although I mean I knew, like, I thought it was cool before, but like this is really awesome. It went for me. It went from cool, and then after that moment, awesome.
We all understood that Tommy's a badass. It was at that moment.
I mean, anybody can look good being evil and getting souped
Right.
up on the evil juice, and now you start doing stuff we never thought anybody would ever do. Like, yeah, he got there early, whoop-de-doo, but I wouldn't argue that he did it the best. He did it very well. I will say that Bring with Evil, it was a
Who did it
five-parter.
better?
It was about, yeah. If I remember correctly, it was like 5 parts of pure childhood anxiety.
To answer your question,
So the way go ahead. What's the question?
oh no, the question was who did it better, and my answer was going to be Trent. That was going to be my answer. But if we're talking about pure story and not just the shock and awe factor, yes, Great with Evil, it after giving us what 20 episodes of like these are the good guys, and then you introduce this new guy like that.
Well, like, it wasn't really 20 some episodes in. It was probably like
12.
early to mid first season.
Well, the first
Like,
season
it
was
was
like 50 episodes. So what?
Well, I'm talking about like true first season of like Mighty Morphin. Like it was probably like after the first like 10 or 12 episodes.
Yeah, I definitely remember it being at least 10 episodes. Like they were together for a good little minute.
Like they established the group at that point, and then Tommy came in, the Green Ranger, to like, because at that point it was kind of repetitive monster of the week sort of thing, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna bring this guy in to break it up and give everyone anxiety. Because literally, like the way they wrote it, it looked like up until the very end that the evil Green Ranger is gonna win and is gonna help Rita, and Rita's gonna like win, and he's gonna win, and evil's gonna win. Like up until like the very end of Jason breaking, destroying the sword of evil and breaking the spell. Like literally, we actually believe that the Power Rangers are gonna lose.
Okay, so Green with Evil was the 17th to the 21st episodes of the first season.
So yeah, probably a good 15 episodes. That's solid. I think that to me, I feel like that's a good amount of time to have the original team be together, regardless of how long the seasons were. Whether you're doing a 20 episode season or a 60 episode season, I think having the original team together for a solid amount of time to actually for us to get acquainted with them, so that you do introduce a new person and we're like yeah, that that was probably the best part about that for me. They did it right. Ben,
Yeah.
you got a moment?
So I also have like been a fan from the very first time I watched Power Rangers. I honestly can't even remember which series it was that I first watched. But the one moment that has always stuck with me, and it is an episode I've rewatched probably 100 times over, is Forever Red. Forever
Oh, that was
Red
a good one.
is such a cool moment where like you just see all of these Red Rangers pop up and absolutely throw hands. And it's the one moment in which it's the first moment in which I was like, I want to go back and watch each and every season that these Rangers were in because I wanted to know who each of these Rangers were. And of course, it was a moment in which, because I've never been like super attached to the red color, I didn't want to be the leader. That's a lot of stress. But at that moment, I wanted to be a Red Ranger. Like seeing all of them together. It's just the fact that the Red Rangers have a huge amount of cool factor. So watching them line up to morph, yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I remember being dumb excited watching that.
That was a solid morph up. Like I can honestly
Yeah.
say I can share a little story of my own about Forever Red. So I knew about Forever Red, but I didn't actually like watch it. So, there was a time where I was going back and rewatching all of them on Netflix, back when they were all there. I had a lot of downtime at that moment. So I remember thinking by the time we got to Likely Rescue Time Force, I was like, what would be cool? It was just like all the Red Rangers came back and they gave TJ his red turbo, and Tommy gets to keep his Dio, so everybody can be happy. And then come Wild Force, and the first Red Ranger pops up, and then the next Red Ranger pops up, and I'm like, they would. And then before you know it, the whole lineup's there, and I'm just like,
It's like,
yes,
throw down.
yes. And then they didn't disappoint because that brawl, that fight sequence, the combos they were doing, some of the best work we've seen in that era of Power Rangers. I can honestly say, like it was fantastic, fantastically done, fantastically executed. It's probably the most legendary team up of all time. Like I don't think anybody would really argue that.
And when TJ pulls up in a red car and they're all fucking sitting in that area, and it's just like, these are all badasses.
Yeah.
Mm,
And whatever comes from this is going to be badass.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
I mean it's the Red Rangers. Like you can't expect anything less when they team up. Like, and then I would say the only it's not even like really a downside. It's not really its fault. But one of the bad things about Forever Red is that it made all of us now want our respective colors to get their team ups, and none of us got them except maybe Pink, who kind of got it in the comics. But that's we
Yeah.
we we wanted it. We all wanted our Forever Blue, our Forever Pink, our Forever Black, our Forever Yellow. We all wanted that, but
Yeah.
we didn't get it, and we probably never will now. Probably never will now. It's going to have to be
Oh,
some
man.
fan made, you know. Okay, can I take a detour real quick? We
Okay.
need, but before I go, we need a fan to buy this franchise. We need, I don't know, Power Rangers fans. I feel like we should be deep enough to where a few of us should be rich enough to get together, buy the franchise, and do it right. And for some reason, nobody's doing it. Saban keeps getting it, and then we got to keep dealing with him for another generation. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, it's like kind of like one of those things where it's like, if I win the lotto, I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, I mean that
How
would probably
much?
be one of the first things I do. Buy Power Rangers.
But how much does? Where would you even begin to pay for Power Rangers? Like, how
Well,
would you?
first of all, you would have to, well, if Saban has ownership, you would have to either buy his ownership or buy the licensing rights. Otherwise, you'll be in copyright court hell. Because don't forget, because the Bond, kind of bought the United States rights from the Japanese company that owns Super Sentai, if you think about it, probably. So, in a sense, you would have to buy either let's say if you want to cut out Saban completely, you would have to buy the rights that he bought from that company. Or what you could do is if Saban's like, yo, I'm cool with you making the next Power Rangers series, you would just pretty much from him buy licensing rights. Like Hasbro in a sense. Like Hasbro and Disney and others have done in the past.
Yeah, it's a lot of avenues to take to buy something. It's the same avenue you take anywhere. You go to Amazon and you see that the copyrights are up for sale, and you see how much it costs, and you one tap click it to buy, and now you own Power Rangers.
Yeah, so to buy Power Rangers, you would have to hit several lotteries because it was sold for $522 million.
Jesus.
That's chump change now, guys. We're in the age of the billionaire, and soon they will be trillionaires. So
change to me.
I ain't got the chump change. I'm just saying. Like relative to what millionaires and actual wealthy people look like now, that's not as much. Now, if you'd have said $1 billion, I'd have been like, yeah, we up there with the money now. Billionaires are the new millionaires. So $500,000, that's like you making $500,000 and you having $500,000 in the bank. It doesn't go as far anymore.
Yeah, then in that case, you would have to wait until the Powerball jackpot's over $1 billion. You would have to hit at a 1.5 or 2.0 billion dollar jackpot.
I'll be honest, I don't see any of us fans with that much pocket. Okay, I don't think that's a thing.
If we all band together,
and I don't know about that one. I mean, if we all band together and go into serious debt, maybe.
There are some who would believe that yes, if we all did band together, we could all own Power Rangers. Now, I can't begin to tell you the many, many, many things that can go wrong just with
so many. I mean, because if you get let's say you got X amount of people with X amount of money to put in with the same amount of say, it's too many hands in the pot. Because you have one person let's keep it a kids show. You'll have another person let's do it dark and gritty like the comics, and another person will be let's make it a musical. Too many ideas, too many hands in the pots, and too many things that could go wrong because things will be clashing.
I hate musicals. Horrible idea. Anyone who recommends it, please find yourself in front of a train. Thank you.
Hey, I love my musicals.
Power Rangers the musical. What a new low. What a new low.
Power Rangers the musical. It's Morphing Time. A rock opera. No, Power Rangers the musical. Power Rangers a rock opera. Come on.
Musical episode.
No, thank you. I could live my whole life without watching a Power Rangers rock opera. It's cheesy enough as it is. You want to add singing and dancing? I can't take it.
The cheesier the better.
That's just a bowl of cheese. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. There's no meat. There's no veggies. There's just
go straight for the cheese. Cheese and wine all the way.
Like you went to a cow, you milked it, you churned the cheese, and then you just started taking your hand into the thing and started raw dogging the cheese. That's how cheesy that is. That's as cheesy as it comes. You might have even let it sit in there and age for a little while. Before, come on, guys, that's too much cheese.
You're like Alpha going. Ah.
If we get Alpha vocalizing, I think I would have to then finally quit Power Rangers. That might be the straw for me personally. Is the Power Ranger music? Now I'm not saying that can't be an attraction to the main thing, but that if you release in theaters or as a new season or as a new movie, whatever, as a musical, I quit. I give up, guys.
It's like Avengers Avengers Assemble the musical.
I mean, even that will work a tad bit better than a Power Rangers musical. cool. Because at least there's
no.
enough in there to where it's not just a
No,
bowl of cheese. Power
no,
Rangers barely has any substance as it is, and then you're gonna cut it some more. You're gonna cut it some more with some baking soda. Come on, guys.
It's got substance. Like the comics have substance. Like Power Rangers comics have substance, actually. Yeah, it does.
which is why so many people want them to just take the comics and make it into a show. But
That's easy money, and I don't know why they won't do it.
Do not. Like,
It's literally what anime and manga do, and they make more money every year. So,
yeah.
but okay. So,
What's your moment?
my Power Rangers moment. So, believe it or not, my Power Rangers moment came from Time Force, and
okay,
it wasn't any one episode. It was more so a storyline. It was the beef between or the beef between Wes and Eric, and it always intrigued me the duality of it. You have Wes that's rich. He doesn't see. This is one of the first times I understood perspective in different
Mm-hmm.
perspectives. So we got a rich Wes who, yes, that's pretty much. But not to say he hasn't worked hard, but he had been handed stuff to him a little bit easier than what somebody else would. You have an Eric that had to get down and dirty, he had to get it out the mud just to get to the same level as Wes. And now you have Eric who's angry at Wes about that. It ain't got nothing to do with Wes because it's just like it's not Eric's fault. He had to get out the mud. It's not Wes's fault that he did. And I always like pondering that growing up, and I had the Time Force VHS, and I had um that story arc, and I watched it all the time, and it's one of the things that first starts to make me really think about people outside of myself, and that's probably why I'm so good at doing that now. So yeah, that's my Power Ranger moment.
you looked at it better than I did. I love Eric because he is an extra ranger, and I love all of the extra rangers,
Mm.
excluding Samurai. But I just thought he had serious anger issues. I knew that was it. There was no there was no understanding. You just hate everything and everybody at all times.
Yeah, no matter what.
Like,
He had
he,
shit
he
on the time.
he came in shooting,
Mm.
literally. All right, we're here now. And like he made it quite clear that he was not a friend. You are red, even though you're an extra rangers, because there was no other color that could express how angry you are. There was nothing.
I mean, that's a hell of a poetic way to look at it. Truly. Um, yeah, it was. And then, of course, Eric morphing for the first time and how he pretty much snatched it from up under Wes and blew everything up and then almost killed Wes in the process. Like it was very dramatic. It was a greatly done scene. The acting. I think Time Force doesn't get enough credit for its acting because the acting isn't consistent. I will say that, but there are a lot of moments where you can feel it because they're in it. Like in the finales, to me, one of the most powerful moments in Power Rangers history was when it was just Wes and Eric left, and they was facing down, the henchmen, and they were in that warehouse. They was getting whooped. Eric was like, "No, I'm gonna fight you," blah blah blah, and Wes pretty much got in his ass on some. You got to get over your damn self. Like we, at the end of the day, we in this together. Don't matter where you came from. Don't matter where I came from. At the end of the day, we both got this on our wrist. So we gonna have to do this together. So let's get it done. And they got it done. Well, it's complicated. It's complicated. They got it done in a way. So yeah, that was great.
I don't. Has there
Yeah,
been any other ranger that has come close to Eric's anger?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because his defining trait was that aggressiveness. I don't think anyone ever has come close.
Not
I mean,
without them being evil. No.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, I think he was the most aggressive, non-evil Power Ranger. I think the others that have come close, they were like, under, like they were evil or like under some sort of evil spell or something. something like that.
Yeah.
We need more Rangers that are just dicks.
Yeah, I agree with that. The problem is a large part of the fan base only views Power Rangers as goody two shoes because they've been displayed as such for so long. Like they we don't really get, like you said, that angry one
The
that
complexity, because it's a child's show, so it's like almost one-dimensional characters.
yeah, you don't get all those extra emotions that
Mm-hmm.
would really make a character stand out. So it's
Yeah.
just
Also, itself stands out because I feel like at that point they were realizing they were losing a lot of their original viewership, because at that point most of the viewers who started with Mighty Morphin were starting to drop off because it's like we're like preteens or starting, or like we were becoming like teenagers at that point. So I felt like they tried to, when they wrote Time Force, they were trying to gear it towards like preteen teenagers instead of children, because they were trying to like, let's grow with with our fans. And then once they realized, I guess maybe it didn't work, or I don't know, because then after that they went back to like it being kind of kiddish again.
well, that's really what the post Zordon era was, and it started with In Space. It started with let's go out with something a little different, and then it turned into, well, this hit off because it's more mature, just like our original audience is. So that's how we got that post Zordon era, the Lightsy Rescue, the Time Force. All of those were, even Wild Force, as it got the Disney treatment at the tail end, because I know they switched to Disney in the middle, and you can kind of see how it
Yeah.
looked like it was supposed to be dark, but then it had those very annoyingly lighthearted elements like just forced in there, like the Never Give Up and things like that. So yeah, it. I think that's why that was the most solid stretch, is because it balanced the mature and the child content without straying too close to either side. And I don't think they've been able to do that since.
We haven't been able to do that in entertainment in quite some time. There was a small period in time in which we could do kid shows that had enough maturity where like it would be entertaining. Your kid would have fun with whatever flashing action scenes there were, but as an adult you'd be able to watch it and actually see depth, character, and even some like quote unquote adult moments. Like I love to look back at
Batman the Anime Series,
yep,
1992.
Batman Justice League Unlimited. Those two
Yes,
animated series were like I think back on Justice League Unlimited, X-Men 2. I need to rewatch X-Men and watch the new animated X-Men.
yeah.
But I think back on John Stewart Green Lantern from Justice League Unlimited, where this man had a girlfriend but was also looking at another girl and was actually thinking about cheating. And like this was in a kids show.
But did you see that other one though?
Hey, let's not talk about that. That's a whole separate conversation. Okay, man.
Nah, I mean,
We had actual content that wasn't afraid to show our kids the real world in a way in which they didn't technically realize they were learning about it, but they were. And we do not have that anymore. Like we don't have
Yeah.
anything. Yes, I think we need a new word because I'm pretty sure we're beyond coddled at this point.
yeah,
Watered down, dumbed down, watered down, called, helicoptered over.
Yes,
There you
it's
go.
horrible. I cannot even like take 5 minutes of any cartoon that has been made recently. I can't. Like I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Well, I just finished binging Young Justice, and I'm kind of pissed there isn't a fifth season. Not gonna lie.
The Young Justice has that.
Yeah, like I was like, season one solid. I could kind of like season two was okay. Season three I could have kind of lived without, but season four brought it back to the level of season one. And now I really want a season five, because it's like, so like in season, because they had, I think, what was it, season two, between two and three, did they have that time jump? I forgot where they had the title. It was like 10 years later because it's like first because we started off as Dick Grayson was Robin, and then we had a time jump where now he's Nightwing, and then we have Tim, and Jason's already dead.
Season 3.
Yeah, and then we have like this, this guy that and come on, it's Red Hood, it's Jason. We know you're Easter egging us with a Red Hood, but then we never get the Red Hood. And that's what really pisses me off because Red Hood is like one of my favorite Batman characters, and it just doesn't get to do.
I think Young Justice ran into an issue where they had too many things going on and started losing focus.
I feel like if they had a fifth season, we would be able to tie it up. Like we just need that one. It just needs that one more season to tie it.
A lot of that problem is they keep canceling it and bringing it back because Young Justice was canceled twice already.
It has a strong following, and more people keep finding it, and more people keep watching, and it's like everyone's yelling at Max is like, one more season, we just want 5.
We're in a climate where they're allowing social media and people who's actually not spending any money to dictate how they make their product. And they're looking at certain things and they're reading them the wrong way. Like, oh, the people didn't watch this because of this. No, that's not why people didn't watch that. People didn't watch that for a completely different reason than you think.
Yep.
But they don't have the proper people in the proper places to let them know, like, hey, this is what this is, not this. So they can then make the proper adjustments. But like the Acolyte, people weren't particularly annoyed with the Acolyte specifically because of like, I know there was stuff about the witches, like the lesbian witches, and there was stuff about the come with the head with the lightsaber. But I think a lot of it really was about storytelling and how it was very plot holy and there was a lot of things. And the best argument I heard so far, and they gotta blame that on themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. Was how it was supposed to be a murder mystery, but we knew who did it 2 episodes in. Like that, I can understand why people were upset. Like you can't tell us it's a mystery and then literally tell us what happened. I thought maybe there was some twist or something coming, and that's what the mystery. Nope, no twist. Just and then and like you said, even that was predictable. What happened? I figured in the beginning that the Jedi killed all of them. It was just a matter of what happened. So
yeah,
but
I was also think too with the Acolyte, it was like a slow burn, like a very slow burn for a Star Wars story. There's a lot of Star Wars stories are usually more fast paced, more action oriented. I mean, the most slowest burn you could probably most you see in Star Wars is probably like Empire Strikes Back, because that was a little bit of a slower burn compared to like all the other Star Wars, but this one was like much slower burn. And I think what if you have a fan base who's used to fast paced action, and then you're giving them like a slow burn, so you're giving too much away too early, you're gonna annoy them. You gotta pick them off.
I also think this was a little too experimental. They experimented with too many things. That was the problem. Like they tried too many things. They should have. If you were going to go for something original that was still tied into the timeline, you shouldn't have been so. A lot just wasn't explained. And the thing is, all of or most of it should have been explained in season 1, and it wasn't. Because I guess originally they were like season 1, season 2. But nowadays you can't go in writing a story like that. You got to just assume you're not getting a season 2 and get all out in season 1, and maybe leave a little tidbits in there to where if you get a season 2, there's something there to use. But they went in like, oh no, we're definitely getting a season 2. We're going to roll. And I believe if they'd have got their second season, it would have been a great series. But what do you want to do?
Man, too many things were left unexplained that really needed explanations. And of course, you don't want to go to the point in which you're explaining everything because you don't want to talk down to your audience. but you also don't want to leave the audience trying to figure out what's happening in the story. Like certain equipment shouldn't be unexplained as to why it does this or does that. Especially when the rest of the story is a murder mystery in which you predicted who done it in the first episode. Like it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan.
I honestly think they could have salvaged a lot of it if they didn't say it was a murder mystery. I think that's where a lot of the heat came from. And once you got that root, everything just started piling on top of it. Like stuff that doesn't even fucking matter. And another thing. And now they just saying stupid stuff now. But I think that's really what it was. People were expecting this whole thing to be drawn out, this mystery of what happened, blah blah blah. Maybe some big twist at the end. It didn't do it. It was for what it was. It was exciting. It was enjoyable. Like it had a lot of good stuff in there. I personally wanted to see where that little romance at the end was going to go. It was odd how it kind of came about. I admit, but I did I did want to see how it was going to come about, what was where that was going to go. But like I said, we just got to leave it to the ether.
Yep.
Going back to the point, I really think right now the entertainment industry is looking too much at social media what the results of their shows or whatever they're creating, which is a really dumb idea because social media has everyone's opinion and all of them conflict in every different direction. So you will never get a straight answer from social media. And what ends up happening is, of course, the loudest things on social media are the divisive, the angry, the offensive. Yep.
Like the loud minority of, like, the loud minority toxic, the minority of the toxic fans over the majority of the critical thinking fans.
Yep. And so what ends up happening is if they're looking at that as the result of their show, they're only getting what is an emotional argument. You're not getting what is actually wrong with your show. You're not getting what could be improved. You're getting this didn't make me feel good or I didn't like this, which is never useful.
And if you don't like something, then change the channel.
You know what annoys me about that, what the end result of that always seems to be things aging very well. Because there was a time where, and I know I'm still stuck on Star Wars, but there was a time where the original trilogy, not the where the prequel trilogy was seen as the biggest piece of garbage that ever happened to Star Wars, and now it's seen as one of the most legendary trilogies of all time. It's praised in so many areas: the storytelling, the acting, the lightsaber battles, the drama, like everything. And now we can't even remember what everybody was complaining about originally. That's
Oh, I remember. They were complaining about the love story or the
and that's one of the things they love the most. That's one of the things they love the most. That's the memes, the oh my gosh, it was so wonderful how they gave up everything for each other and she died of a broken heart and oh my goodness, which by the way, I don't think she died of a broken heart. I think she just had birth complications, but we're not going to get into that. I mean, she had twins. Like
yeah, that's hard. That's hard on the body.
yeah, and she was like I said, she had just got choked out by Anakin like 10 minutes earlier. So it's safe to say,
Although there was, I think either it was in the script or I don't know if they shot it, but she was supposed to be like holding a dagger, like about to like stab him in the back to kill him, because apparently it was like written that she knew like about because after Obi-Wan told her about the killing of the kids in the Jedi Temple, and so when she goes to confront him, she's actually like thinking about taking him out for the good of democracy in the galactic republic. But I don't know if I don't know if they didn't shoot it or they just got scrapped because it was too dark.
I say, yeah, I don't know about all of that, but I know Power Rangers in a way has its own thing like that, and it's called the Disney era. Because I feel like I remember when the Disney era was seen as the worst thing to happen to Power Rangers. because everybody, of course, was still stuck on the Zordon era, the nostalgia, and Disney moved essentially very far away from it, pretty damn near established its own timelines separate. Well, at least until they brought in, Tommy and Dino Thunder. But for the most part, they try to keep it all moderately separate. And now Disney is seen as the best era, pound for pound.
I don't know about best.
I don't agree. I'm saying if we look at the social media polls, people are going to say that it's the Disney era. But me personally, I would say the post Zordon era. Now I know some people combine that era period, but the
Mm.
post Zordon era, the Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force era is like I said, the most solid stretch of Power Rangers we've got ever. I'm sorry, Nick, give me a better stretch. And if you say Mighty Morphin, it's automatically null and void.
There's a lot of hate there.
I'm just being real because no, Mighty Morphin, like I said, you gotta let go of that nostalgia. You gotta let it go. Like it had its moments. Yeah, it's the original. Yeah, it gave us what we have today. But I always ask people if you wanted to show Power Rangers to somebody else and you genuinely wanted them to become a fan, what are you going to let them watch? That's irresponsible. That's irresponsible.
Instant response.
No, I'm serious. That's irresponsible because Mighty Morphin, especially by today's standards, Mighty Morphin doesn't have the goods. It doesn't.
Like, I'll probably not start him on the first episode, but I'll probably start him on episode 1 of Green with Evil Part 1.
That's such, but that's
I-
gonna.
Wait, it's a little extreme, okay? You start a series with episode 1. That's how they go. That's why we have numbers.
No, why not do them as Jesse way?
And it's also like that's not going to mean nearly as much if you don't watch the first 15 episodes or so. It's just going to be like, some guy coming in and, it's just going to be like, oh, okay, what's happening? And then just like, oh, wow, this is cool. But it's not going to hit you in your chest like it's supposed to because you didn't get to know the team first. You didn't get to love them. Not
You'd have to strap them down and force them to watch the first, 17 episodes and be like, okay, now you're good.
and that's what I mean. Mighty Morphin doesn't have the goods. If
It
you,
does. I would personally still start someone with Mighty Morphin. To understand what Power Rangers is, the formula of Power Rangers, you have to watch Mighty Morphin. Because it's the footprint. It is the formula format. And then you go from there, you could go to any other freaking.
I can agree with to get the true sentiment of Power Rangers, you have to watch Mighty Morphin. But again, that's not the question at hand. The question
Yeah.
is if you wanted somebody to become a fan, if they didn't know anything about Power Rangers, they didn't know about nothing about no hype or no 90s, they came from a different country, they're only 22 years old, they don't know nothing about Power Rangers. And you wanted to get them in on it. They've been watching Emmy-winning shows and stuff like that. You're like, I gotta get them into Power Rangers. What are you going to show them to get them to become a fan?
Okay, so besides Mighty Morphin, I'd probably go Time Force with that note.
Time Force is a good one.
Okay, so if you're gonna introduce it to an older person, I would go with Time Force. But let's say I decide to introduce it to one of my nieces or nephews, I'm gonna throw Mighty Morphin first.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't talking about the kiddies. I'm talking about the people who are going to spend their money now. Kids don't got nothing to do with what's being made in TV shows and movies unless it's a genuine ride or die kid show, and Power Rangers is now moving away from that. So we need to find the balance. Like I said, I'm gonna go with any of the mature seasons. Time Force is a good one. I would say
Ninja Storm.
I would say Lost Galaxy is a good one. Ninja Storm is if you want to get a millennial, I would say Ninja Storm is a good one. It's got really good early 2000s vibes and it hits you right in the chest. It's fantastic.
That was the series that kind of got me kind of watching Power Rangers again. That one.
It was Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder.
Yeah, it's definitely those two.
You know, if I had to choose something other than Mighty Morphin to give someone to an intro, it would probably be Ninja Storm or Dino Thunder because it's light enough. It's light enough to where I can explain the campy nature of Power Rangers and get them used to that because the campiness is there in every season. So there's no escaping that. And when you're introducing someone who's watching, you know, Emmy nominated TV shows, you have to prepare them for the fact that there's camp, okay? Because they don't understand camp. I don't know if I would go straight for the darker seasons. I'd probably give them Ninja Storm to Dino Thunder and then give them one of the darker seasons so they get the full spectrum. And never to go anywhere near Neo Saban. Ever.
Like, I mean, but also too, like, you can say for a good argument, like, Dino Thunder would be a good one to show because, like, it's like a fan almost like written like a not a return of Mighty Morphin, but more like a appreciation of where it came from. And then you have that one episode of Time Maid's Diary where you get the history from Mighty Morphin up until then. And if that history intrigues them, then they could go back themselves and watch.
Yeah, actually, Dino Thunder might be the best one to start with.
Yep. I feel like I've probably said that in a previous episode. Dino Thunder is probably the best episode just to start people off with. You know, you get the essence of Power Rangers without being over glorified with the camp, but the camp is still there. It's a nice amount of it.
Yeah.
Just to not overwhelm. So yeah, but irresponsible picking Mighty Morphin. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta because it's honestly 70% of fans at this point. But y'all gotta understand that that's the exact reason why Power Rangers can't get but so far because of the Mighty Morphin anchor that's weighing it down.
Just want a live action or animated Shattered Grid. That's so much hard to ask.
That's fine. That works. That's something that's solid. But specifically, Mighty Morphin seasons 1, 2, and 3 is irresponsible. You guys, this is why fans aren't in charge because you guys will literally run it into the ground and then be sad that there's no more Power Rangers. We could have had Power Rangers, but you couldn't let go of Mighty Morphin. You gotta make sacrifices, guys. You gotta. You gotta. I'm sorry. I wish.
It's where it started.
Hang it jersey up in the rafters. Okay, that number 1, 2, 3 jersey. Hang it up in the rafters. We'll do a farewell tour. We'll swap jerseys with all the other seasons. We'll do all of that stuff. We'll do the farewell tour the best way possible. But Mighty Morphin has to go, y'all. I'm sorry. It's gotta go. It's either Power Rangers, no Power Rangers, keeping Mighty Morphin, which makes no daggone sense, or we keep Power Rangers without Mighty Morphin. Those are our options now. We're there now.
No, that too. But if you have like the comics where you have the Shattered Grid storyline, why would I even show them a TV show? I just throw them a comic book and you go here and start reading.
People don't read no more. You know that, right?
I'll read. I'm sorry if I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, people don't read.
Audiobook. Okay, audiobooks. They are now.
Drama.
Yes.
Audio.
Or anime. Why not go anime? You know.
Really the movie.
We need animation. I won't say anime. If we go anime, we move a little too close to Super Sentai, which will bring in a whole bunch of different issues. So we need an Americanized animation.
Like Avatar.
Yeah, you can do anime and not have it be, Japanese, it's more like the art style itself is anime. And I think Power Rangers would be very beautiful in an anime. I think that's where it would work at its peak. Like if you want to see Power Rangers make money and really reach the different audiences and bring in new fans to keep this thing going, that's the future move in anime. But
especially since it'll make video games a lot easier too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Power Rangers can do a lot of different stuff. They can do like the 2D fight like Street Fighter or Combat. They can do the open world type like DBZ kind of does, and or they can do a more story driven one like Elden Ring or something like that. They can do a lot with Power Rangers when it comes to video games, but they got to get their money up.
I think sometimes I had this idea in my mind a long time ago, but having a Power Rangers game with an entirely new Power Rangers team. So almost like having a new season, but it
Right,
be the characters of the game. I would
right.
love that.
Be like, like one of those, like you could almost do it like a maybe side scrolling, like kind of like how they had the story, like the Injustice video game, where you have the story between the side scrolling fights to give you the action for the story. Like it was like a way of storytelling while playing video games. Or if you really want to make it like storytelling interactive Power Rangers, remember back when they made the Tall games? Where it was just like, depending on
Telltale.
what the that one. Where this is where the decisions you made will change like what happens next. Yeah.
I would love that because
Like
especially
the decisions you make will either take you the path to the light or a path to the dark range. Are you going to be an evil ranger? Or are you going to be a good ranger?
I've read so many books like that, and it's fantastic. Like putting that in a video game would be fantastic to do like a little. They kind of have that in sports. Where in sports games, you do like a little story mode, and you get to build your character. What if you could build your ranger? You can, join your team, go on these missions. You get your attributes up, and get your fighting court. That would be. There's a lot of stuff you could do, but like I said, stuff like games like that take money to make, and you got to guarantee you got a big enough fan base who has deep enough pockets that they're going to actually buy the game and they're also going to play it. But nowadays, us our age, we don't play video games. We're busy. So now you got to gear it towards the video games towards our younger. You're still down there though. You're still kind of down there though. You're not up here with us unks and aunties. You know what I'm saying? Like we not playing video games like that no more. I only play video games with my little cousins over here. My niece and nephew want to come down here and play. Other than that, I don't got time. So you got to gear it towards a younger audience, and video games is the way to go. But you need money, our money, and we're telling you what we will do to give you our money. What you got to do for us to give you our money. But they don't want to listen.
I don't know if it's they don't want to listen to talking with too many different ideas. So it makes it difficult to like.
Power Rangers, so many possibilities. It's a formula. It's beyond just a series. It's like you can almost say it's almost like its own genre.
But technically, Masked Hero is its own genre.
Yeah, but it's like a particular formula of a masked hero
Yeah.
or heroes because it's a team.
No, Power Rangers definitely has its own formula. And I think that's the problem. Everybody's trying to use different formulas for Power Rangers instead of trying to find Power Rangers formula and adapting it to a modern time. And I really think to do that, they have to utilize animation. Does it really matter how? It really doesn't even matter what form, but they need to start utilizing the animation in some way, shape, or form. That's what they need to do. It can be video games, it can be cartoons, it can be anime. It doesn't matter, but they got to get in.
It just needs to evolve from where it's been.
And I think a lot of that problem is, and from a business standpoint, I think they they won't make as much money if they do that because people spend billions of dollars on going to the cinema still crazy enough and watching big time movies and TV shows that win awards and stuff like that.
The movie industry is dying, or like at least specifically movie theaters aren't doing as well as they did.
Well, that's also too because like I don't know how it is for you guys, but like buy me a movie ticket, like just a regular adult movie ticket, is like $17 a person. It's like it's almost like you're taking a gamble to go and see the movie in the theater, and you're praying that it's worth spending like 4 tickets for 2, almost like over $30.
Yeah, I mean, if it didn't die during COVID, it's not going to die now. That's what I'm saying. Like if it survived COVID, it's good. Like and at the end of the day, people are always going to want to go to the movies because it's its own experience. And yeah, it's expensive. It's an inexpensive experience, but it's an experience that a lot of people still want to enjoy, at least for specific movies. You just have to make your movie the movie that people want to experience. And Power Rangers is not to a point where they can take advantage of something like that. They need to, in a sense, downgrade so they can upgrade. Go from the live action stuff, go down to animation. You'll spend less money. I feel like you'll reach a wider audience, and your bottom line will become higher. That's what it's about, right?
Yep.
I also think Power Rangers should stray away from movies. Just saying. I don't think a movie is the best format for Power Rangers.
Agreed. I can agree with that. So I think we want to call that a podcast because it's been
Yeah.
getting weird sounds. So yeah, so this I know we all have memories and different times in our lives where Power Rangers was there, or different reasons why we watch Power Rangers. Like some of us are Power Rangers fans, and that's why we're doctors. That's why we're firefighters. That's why we're in the military. That's why we know karate. That's why we know martial arts. Like there's a lot of influence in Power Rangers if we can just gear it towards the proper stuff so we can actually get some stuff done. That's what we got to do. But we don't know what the future holds until the future becomes the present. And then we're not going to appreciate the present until it becomes the past. And on that note, this is an episode of Generations of the Grid. We're your hosts. I'm Wes.
I'm Sandra.
And I'm Damien.
We'll catch you guys next time.
And may the power protect.